Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my first PFL full card breakdown. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do these all the time like the UFC cards just because, my God, this hair. Yeah, just because not all the fights are good or great or even really okay. This one, though, pretty good card. First card for Thiago Santos and Krzysztof Jotko. Impa Kasanganay is coming back and actually on a PFL card instead of like a challenge, to see if you can get a contract. But yeah, let's break down the card. Let's talk about it. Let me know what you guys think. If you want to see more like this, let me know. And I think I'm going to do the one FC card for May with DJ on it. I'll talk about that one. Let me know if you guys are into that. If you're not into it, either way, let's talk about it. Today, the first fight we're talking about was Corey Hendricks versus Impa Kasanganay. Corey Hendricks, 9 wins, 5 losses. He's 3-2 in his last 5 fights, but he's 1-2 in his last 3. Did get a big win over Martin Hamlet about a year and a half ago or so, a year and 10 months. Got a loss against Chris Camozzi in a really, really fun fight on that one. And then defeated Emiliano Sordi, ground and pound, which was a big one because the guy was very, very much had much more experience than him. He 23-8-1 at the time, so a really good win for him there. Then he comes back and he loses against Martin Hamlet, split decision, very close fight. Just Hamlet, you seen he was a different dog that night. He really, really wanted that. And Corey Hendricks is a plus 125, is 34. He will be 35 years old. Stands 6'3" with a 73-inch reach. Impa, 11 wins, 3 losses. He's 3-2 in his last 5 fights, but he's 2-1 in his last 3. Minus 150 favorite, 29 years old, 5'11" with a 75-inch reach, 2-inch reach advantage for Impa, and what is that? 4-inch in height for Corey Hendricks. Good. The crazy thing about Impa, he had 1 loss in the UFC. He defeated. Let's see. I think he lost his first fight in the UFC. Yes. He defeated Maki Pitolo by decision. Lost to Joaquin Buckley by the spinning back kick, which we all have seen 1,000 times. Comes back and beats Sasha Plotnikov and actually looks pretty good in that fight. First round, kind of slow to feel things out, and then he really, really, you see how, when he lets loose, how exciting he really can be. So Sasha Plotnikov defeats him rear naked choke, second round, 26 seconds into it. Then his next one loses to Carlston Harris, which was a little bit of a surprising one for me. I didn't expect Harris's striking or power to really affect Impa as much as it did, and it really affected him. I think he stung him early, and then Impa didn't change it up and was finished. Then he fought, cut from the UFC, 2-2 in the UFC's cut. Then he fights Raymond Magomedov, loses a split decision in the Eagle FC. So then you're like, all right, I don't know. Then he beats Jared Gooden, and he actually finishes him in the first round. I'm pretty sure he even goes up in a weight class in that one. And he looked real good, real powerful, really fast, and just kind of had that swagger that he had when he fought Maki Pitolo. He still kind of had the swagger in the Sasha. When he got the finish, or the scramble that led to the rear naked choke, you could see that swag that he had. And then he gets the PFL challenge, invitation, fights Osama El Lasadi. He was 8-2 at the time. Beats him in the first round at the late stages of the first round. Again, starting to pick it up, and he's in a different weight class now. Fought at 170, I believe, and then against Jared Gooden, he fought 185, and now he's at 205. I expect him to lean on his wrestling and his jiu-jitsu if he needs to do that. We've seen Hendricks struggle a little bit, with that sometimes. Also, expect Kasanganay have a big power advantage. I like Impa in this one. I'm going with Impa. I just think he's the more well-rounded fighter, and I think he's learned that if it's not going well on the feet, don't keep doing it, and I think he'll go for takedowns until he gets a win. So there is my first prediction. Next one is Delon Monte versus Tai Flores. Delon Monte, 9 wins, 3 losses. He's 3-2 in his last 5 fights, but he's 1-2 in his last 3. Now, he's the favorite in this matchup at minus 200, 29 years old, 6 foot tall with a 74-inch reach. Tai Flores, 11 wins, 4 losses, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, plus 160 underdog. 29 years old, 6'3", with a 73-inch reach, 3 inches taller for Tai Flores, 1 inch in reach advantage for Delon Monte. Now, the interesting thing with him is all of his losses have been finishes. Lost really bad against Rob Wilkerson, who will fight Thiago Santos in the co-main, I believe it is. Did defeat Emilio Sordi, who Corey Hendricks also defeated. Lost to Antonio Carlos Jr. by Darce. So the thing that I've noticed a lot with him is, if you are able to kind of bully him early, you are going to have a lot of success. Tai Flores, like I said, he's 4-1 in his last 5. His 1 loss is against George Takas 11 months ago. Gotten back in the win column against Grab Park. Then fought Ryan Parker and won in that one as well. So again, I really like Tai Flores in this one. I just think he's going to be able to bully Monte, and I think he gets the win in that one. Something else. Next fight is Gabriel Alves versus Jesus Pineda. Jesus Pineda, 20 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. He's 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Hasn't lost a fight in 3 years. Lost to John McDessie in the UFC. 26 years old from Peru. 155, 6 foot tall with a 74-inch reach. Gabriel Alves Braga, 9-0. 24 years old, 5'9", with a 72-inch reach. Big height advantage for Pineda, 2 inches as well in reach for Pineda. I really like Jesus Pineda in this one. Again, he lost the decision to John McDessie from the UFC. Gabriel Braga, you just don't really know a whole lot by him. 4 by TKO or KO, 5 by decision. And again, he looks good at times, but the competition he's fighting isn't great. Like in LFA, he fought Rodrigo Fierra, 15-10 at the time. Faz Jacobs, 8-4. Agu Huskick, the Challenge Series, same thing that Impa was on, 8-5. This is the most experienced fighter he's ever fought. Did defeat Jonathan Cordero. He was 4-1 though. He finished him. Again, I just like the other guy. He's more experienced, more fights, more well-rounded. I really like Jesus Pineda in this fight. Now, again, on this damn card, and then we have Alejandro Flores versus Daniel Torres. Alejandro Flores, 21 wins, 4 losses, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, plus 200 underdog. 31 years old, 5'9", with a 73-inch reach. Daniel Torres, 14 wins, 5 losses, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, minus 250 favorite. 29 years old, 5'9", with a 69.3-inch reach. About a 3.5-inch reach advantage for Flores. Did lose his last one against Raji Kudo, right hook, about 8 months ago. And Daniel Torres, like I said, he's 4-1, but he's 2-1 his last 5 fights. His 1 loss is against Saladin Parnes by decision. Flores, again, has 25 fights. Very, very interesting to see how he comes back in that big, big loss. He's been finished all 4 of his losses are finishes. Now, again, he has 9 finishes in his 21 wins, 12 by decision. So this is a guy that goes to decision if he wins. Now, he does have wins, 9 finishes in his 21 wins, but he's a decision fighter. That's what it is. That's how it is. That's, again, he's fought in a Contender Series, lost to Rafael Alves, who just got cut from the UFC by guillotine choke. Did get 4 wins during that time, and then lost in the PFL regular season last year. Did take time off after getting KO'd, but the thing I like about Daniel Torres, 2-fight winning streak, 29 years old, like I said, 8 wins by finish, has also been KO'd one time in his career, which seems to be 2012 or 2013, doesn't really say. But he fought a guy that was 30-14 in his second fight, or third fight. So, you get a pass for that one, for my buddy. So, but again, he's fought some good competition. Lost against a guy who has one loss in his career, but to me, again, I just really like how Daniel Torres fights. I do think he's going to test Flores' chin after being finished just about 8 months ago. I like Daniel Torres in this fight. Next fight on the card is Josh Silveira versus Sam Kai. Josh Silveira, 9 wins, 1 loss, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Huge favorite at -600. Did lose against Armari Akhmadov. He was in the UFC as well. 30 years old, just turned 30. 6-1 with a 75-inch reach. Sam Kai, 8 wins, 6 losses, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, plus 425 underdog. 6'3 with a 74.8-inch reach. Just about the same reach. 2 inches in height for Sam Kai. Now, the one interesting thing about this fight with Sam Kai is he's lost his last one. He's been finished 3 out of his 6 losses. He only has 4 wins by TKO or KO. The other ones are by decision. Lost to Juan Adams in last year. Didn't really look that good in that fight, to be fair. Didn't really look that good. Hasn't fought a whole ton of good competition. There's some good wins in here for sure, but there's some weird losses as well. Again, just weird. And I expect Joe Silveria, man, these names are nuts. I expect him to be uber aggressive, go right at him, beat him up. He has 8 wins out of his 9 wins. 8 wins are finishes. 3 by TKO or KO, 5 by submission. I really, really like Josh Silveira in this fight. I think he goes right at Sam Kai, and I think he gets him out of there pretty damn early. Next on the card is Martin Hamlet versus Mohamed Fakhreddin. Hope I said that right. Martin Hamlet, 10 wins, 4 losses, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Came into the PFL beating Cesar Fiera. He hurt his hamstring. Then he lost to Antonio Carlos Jr. by rear naked choke. Then beat Teodoros Akistolis, something like that. Lost to Josh Silveira, head kick and knees into the clinch. Looked real bad in that fight. And then beat Corey Hendricks, his last one. -175 favorite, 31 years old, 6'1 with a 75-inch reach. Muhammad, 15 wins, 4 losses. He's 3-1-1 in his last 5 fights, plus 150 underdog, 38 years old. 6 foot tall. Again, I just like the more well-roundedness of Hamlet, but the one thing that does scare me a lot in this fight is his cardio. We've seen him kind of get bullied at times. He has 2 no contests, by the way, Muhammad does. But all of his losses are also finishes, but he also has 13 by finish and 12 of them by TKO or KO. This guy is a finisher, and an absolute finisher. If there ever was one, it is this guy. Has been finished a couple times by, like I said, 3 times by putting TKO or punches. Lost to an uppercut, lost to a punch, lost TKO right there in 2018. Again, I like Muhammad late in the fight, but he is 38 years old, like I said. I do like him later if he can get Martin Hamlet to fade a little bit. But I got Martin Hamlet. I just think he's a little bit more well-rounded, and I have Hamlet winning this fight. Next on the card is Chris Wade versus Bubba Jenkins. This fight already happened once. I'm pretty sure Chris Wade won that fight when they fought the first time. Yep, by decision in 2021. And Chris Wade's interesting. I think he's so much better than what people want to say. I think it's because he's not a finisher. It's just not his game for some reason. Does have a finish, but 22 wins, 8 losses, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Did lose to Mavlid Kaibulov, beat Lance Palmer, finished Kyle Bochniak. Oh, wait. He has 2 finishes. 2 TKO wins then. Yes. Because he got another KO. And then he lost to Brendan Longnane 7 months ago. Minus 175 favorite, 35 years old, which is kind of nuts. 5'10 with a 70-inch reach. Bubba Jenkins, 19 wins, 6 losses, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, plus 140 underdog, also 35 years old. 5'8 with a 72-inch reach, 2-inch in reach in Bubba Jenkins, 2-inch in height for Chris Wade. I think this fight kind of plays out exactly how the first one does. I do think Chris Wade gets the finish on Bubba Jenkins. There's weird times. You'll see Bubba Jenkins eat some crazy stuff, and then he'll eat something that's like, oh, all right, and then it finishes him. So I don't know if he puts him out cold, but I think he gets him tired like he did in the first fight, and he's able to get him out of there. I'll say 3rd round, 4th round finish for Chris Wade. Next fight on this PFL card is Krzysztof Jotko versus Will Fleury. Krzysztof Jotko, 24 wins, 6 losses, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. His last loss was against Brandon Allen 5 months ago. Minus 270 favorite, 33 years old, 6'1 with a 77-inch reach. Will Fleury, 11 wins, 3 losses, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. His one loss is against Maciej Rosinski, arm triangle choke 2 years ago. 34 years old, just turned 34, 6'3 with a 77-inch reach. Same reach, 2 inches in height for Will Fleury. Again, he's a plus 220 underdog. The thing I do like about Fleury in this one is his striking ability. It's a little creative, and he's very, very fast. The issue is he only has 5 finishes out of his 11 wins. He's primarily a decision fighter, has been submitted, and again, in him being submitted, he was arm triangle choked by whatever that guy's name is, lost by punches against Alan Amandovsky in the first round. 2018, that guy hasn't been the same since. Alan Amandowski hasn't been. Again, I like Krzysztof Jotko. He's good at one thing, putting the pressure on you, getting takedowns, and kind of just controlling you and getting a decision. I expect him to do the exact same thing. Now, again, money-wise, I'm sure there's some good money bets you could put on Will Fleury at plus 220. We have seen Jotko have issues with guys that go right at him and throw combinations and or have good takedown defense. We've seen good things. I like Krzysztof Jotko to win this fight, though. Next is Rob Wilkerson versus Thiago Santos. Rob Wilkerson, 17 wins, 2 losses. He's won a whole bunch in a row. 6 wins in a row. And he has, 16 finishes? Has been finished by punches twice in his career, his 2 losses. But one of them is Sair Bahadurzada. Jesus. And Israel Adesanya in his UFC debut. And again, he went on to have a pretty goddamn good career. Beat Dylan Monty in his PFL debut. Or not his debut, but beat Victor Pesta, Bruce Soto, Amari Akhmadov. Again, has looked really, really good since losing to Israel Adesanya. Turning that corner, and I believe he's also up a weight class. Yes, he is. But he also is fighting Thiago Santos. 22 wins, 11 losses, 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He's a plus 160 underdog, as he should be. 39 years old. 6'2 with a 76-inch reach, 1 inch in height for Wilkerson, 4 inches in reach for Rob Wilkerson. The one thing that scares me in this one is Wilkerson's desire to put on exciting fights and also put the pressure and kind of willingly to stand in the pocket. You have to be very careful when you do that against a guy like Santos, especially early. But if Wilkerson can drag this fight to later rounds, I expect Wilkerson to have a lot of success. The issue is can he get past that first round? It's going to be a tough one. I have Rob Wilkerson winning, of course, in this fight, but I expect Santos to come out guns a-blazing, be very fast, throwing some crazy spinning stuff as he typically does. Rob Wilkerson, I think he does win this fight by finish, actually. In the main event, we have Brandon Lonane versus Marlon Moraes. I don't know how to pronounce that name. 26 wins, 4 losses for Brendan. 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Is a minus 700 favorite. 33 years old, 5'9" with a 71-inch reach. Marlon Moraes, 23 wins, 11 losses, 1 draw. He's lost 5 fights in a row, and he's also lost a lot of them by TKO or KO. He was finished by Corey Sandhagen in 2020, finished by Rob Font in 2020, 2 months later, actually. Then he lost to Merab Dvalishvili about a year or so later, almost a year. And he had a lot of success in that fight. Then he lost to Yadong Song, retired from the sport, was supposed to fight Shane Burgos, did not. Fought Shaman Moraes instead, and looked, again, not great. Of course, he's going to look good in that first round. You got to be careful. But Long Nane is very, very good at using his distance, and I really like Brandon in this fight. Again, I don't trust the chin at all for Marlon Moraes. Just how can you, to be honest? Does have a fight in the UFC. Oh yeah, UFC lost to Mike Wilkerson by decision. And got cut, I guess, right after that or whatever, but that was 2012. He was real young in that fight. 2012, 23 years old, 22, 23. Lost the decision in that one. But again, I have Brendan Long Nane winning this fight. And I think he puts on an absolute show. An absolute show. So again, that is the first card breakdown thing I have done. Card predictions on my channel. Let me know if you guys want to see more PFL fighter breakdowns. But this is PFL 1 2023 season. And it starts very soon, actually. It starts... I guess it's not going to tell me. 48 minutes. No, there's no time on this, but here you go. Again, thank you guys. Subscribe to the channel. It's a little chaotic. Sorry. But thank you guys so much. Peace.